I don't know if it's even technically a farm, but he only has one client, and that is his mother's restaurant. Okay, so this persona that they built, that he's a oyster farmer, is really BS. He goes out and catches some oysters for mom's restaurant. I mean, that's what he does. He's basically a bum. So he has nothing to lose. And what's happened in these few months that he's been running for the Senate, they have made him a big deal. It's like they plucked this guy. They really literally did. They plucked him off a boat in Maine, had him run for Senate, and he's a household name, very famous, and he's speaking to groups of thousands every day. So he doesn't want to let that go. He doesn't want to be back out on his boat picking up oysters out of the water from mom's restaurant, after he's had a little taste of this. So how rational he is at this point, I don't. Is he holding out for a payout? Is he so arrogant that he thinks somehow he can still remain to be a player? And there's another thing too. If he were to drop out, it's almost like saying that the allegations that were made are true. I believe her, but he doesn't want he doesn't want to give any credibility to the accusations made against him. But it really is mind-boggling when you look at everything that has happened with Graham Platner, with the Nazi tattoo and everything that's gone on. There has not been, from the first moment his name became known, there has not been a single moment where there's been one positive characteristic about this guy that has become public. Everything about Graham Platner has been negative. I was talking to my wife earlier, and if you take, what Graham Platner is? If you take every line out of control slander that they ever made about President Trump, and you put it into some AI machine, it would come out with Graham Platner. Graham Platner is everything that they fantasize Donald Trump is and isn't, right? And he's gotten accused of being a rapist by a credible person, right? He's literally a Nazi, not figuratively. Everything they've said Donald Trump is in all their slanders, this guy is. And you know what? They backed him. They backed him. And now they're in a place where they can't handle it. And what happened with Graham Platner, this woman, they've known about this woman. And everything happened yesterday too fast. 24 hours ago is when the story broke in Politico. 24 and a half hours ago, I was here on the podcast and I was saying live, we knew that he canceled all his events. Something was going on. What happened? What could be so bad that it would call on him to withdraw from the race after the Nazi tattoo over his heart? What could it be? Now, this is what the accusation was in my mind. Oh, it'd have to be something like that. I didn't say it because it hadn't come out yet. But at about 3:45 yesterday afternoon, the story dropped on Politico. And then last night, Jake Tapper drops a sit-down interview with the accuser. There was a coordinated effort. And what has happened here is this. When those of you on hold, stand by. We'll get to some calls in a bit. What happened here is pretty simple. A couple weeks ago, when Mamdani's endorsed Democrat Socialist won those New York primaries, those are pretty much uncontested seats. So those Democrat Socialist lunatics in New York are going to win and be sent to the House of Representatives. And then there were some other wins of other Democratic Socialists around the country. In particular, this woman who's originally from Ethiopia and Colorado, who blamed the United States for 9/11. We caused 9/11. We brought it upon ourselves. One of them, I can't remember if it was the New York Democrat Socialist or the Colorado one, they're all the same, but was against interracial relationships and interracial marriage because they're anti-white. Remember all this stuff that came out? And then James Carville and others came out and said, hey, this is crazy, this cannot be allowed, and things got really nuts with it. And everything that's happening here is the Democrat Party establishment bringing down the Democratic Socialist of America. And I think their targets are mainly, immediately, Graham Platner, but really their main target is Bernie Sanders. And it'll be AOC in the squad too, because Bernie Sanders is the deity of the Democrat Socialist. All right, I want to take a call or two, and I've got a lot to cover on the podcast today. But if you're watching live on YouTube, you can call in. The number's toll-free, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, it's Jog for Nine.
Oh, hey, yes.
So we spoke yesterday, and obviously what you had stated was going to occurred,
Mm-hmm.
As you foretold. My question is basically, so this seems to be like set up, and
Yes.
I was thinking to myself a few minutes ago, right before I called, where have I seen this before? Because it's happened recently, and it happened to the representative in California.
Yeah.
That was in the House and was running for governor.
Uh-huh. Yeah, Swalwell.
It seems extremely similar. So my question to you is this. If he's going to either be pushed out and finally leave the race, who do you think they're going to attempt to substitute him with?
It doesn't matter because it's so late and there's so much scandal involved. It doesn't matter. They could pick Jasmine Crockett for all I care. They're going to lose to Susan Collins. And you know what? The point I was making on the morning show today, and I still stand by this, the Democrat Socialist and the Democrat Party are at war, an internal war, and the Democrat establishment are trying to lose some races to purge the Democrat Socialist out of the party. They want Bernie Sanders gone. He's not up right now, so there's not much they can do about it. But they want Bernie Sanders gone, and they're going to start targeting these other high-profile Democrat Socialists because they're losing their party.
I completely understand what you're saying.
So who they put in there doesn't matter. Whoever they put in there is a sacrifice candidate that they know won't win.
But do you find that the DSA is actually, they seem to be the members, like the gang, the clique, whatever you want to call them, they seem to be the ones that make the most noise. They end up getting the most publicity. They end up getting the most eyes. So, I understand that they have to get rid of them because they're communists. I'm just trying to figure out a way, because they seem to be bringing on all of.
Well, Bernie Sanders aside, the Democrat. Please don't call them DSA. It discounts them. The Democrat Socialist of America, communist. Okay, they want you to call them DSA so you forget what they are.
No, they're communists.
You know, yeah. But most of them are young and they're internet savvy, right? So they're social media savvy, and they know how to use TikTok and things like this that the establishment never have to bother with, right? So they've got a big advantage on getting a buzz going. Mm-hmm. But without the Democrat Party machine, it's one thing to win primaries, it's another to win the general elections.
Yeah, especially without any money. I guess I'm just, perhaps I'm extremely naive. I don't understand how individuals can have these accusations be made at them, and then depending upon what party you belong to is whether or not you believe the accusations. It's kind of
well, no, there's there's differences. Okay, are the accusations credible? And and I'll say these allegations against Trump are absurd, right? And I'll tell you, like I got a call today. I was surprised. I was taking calls for 2.5 hours, and then I finally get a call who mentioned E. Jean Carroll. I was shocked it took so long. And what they said is, well, what's why don't you believe E. Jean Carroll, but you believe this woman? E. Jean Carroll, a few things about her other than her being nuts and everything else. She wouldn't even say what year it happened, so that President Trump couldn't alibi himself out, right? And she expects people to believe that the most famous man in New York City walked into the busiest department store in New York City and no one saw him and he carried on that way. And when people come forward like E. Jean Carroll, or remember that lunatic woman that came out against Kavanaugh in the Senate confirmation hearing?
These people, yeah, another moment of amnesia.
Okay, well, these women that come out and make these false allegations against Republicans are Democrat operatives that are backed by the Democrats, and they don't even hide it. You know, Anita Hill with Clarence Thomas had the Democrats behind her, and openly behind her. With this Graham Platner situation, this is a woman who's a Democrat socialist herself, who said she was reluctant because she agrees with him politically, and it's come out by Democrats, not Republican operatives. You know what I mean? That gives credibility to it. And Swalwell, well, he was sleeping with a Chinese spy. That was well documented through federal investigations, right? So these things come out. You know, so that's the difference. None of this with Platner came out from the opposition. Not the Susan Collins team didn't do this. This is from the Democrat Party exposed all this, and the woman making the rape allegations is a Democrat socialist who says that she agrees with his politics.
I get what you're saying, but didn't a individual who is of the Republican preference actually end up coming out first? And didn't the
yes, yeah, in the New York Times, it was in the New York Times, and she was discounted because she's a Republican, if you remember, and this woman was mentioned in the article. They talked to her at the New York Times, but you know, yeah, the first accuser of Graham Platner was a Republican. That's correct, and that's why it went nowhere.
That's, I guess, like I said, I'm naive in some regards. To me, if somebody has a allegation of that, it definitely needs to be looked into, especially when you have like documentation, like the text messages, which is another. I mean, and those are actual proof. I mean, and it's not. And then his wife came out and said it as well. I mean, these are patterns.
Correct. Now with this woman with Graham Platner, the Politico story, they did a detailed investigation. They talked to a boyfriend, friends, they had text messages, and even exchanges between her and her therapist. So, right, so there's a lot of differences here.
I'm not disagreeing. I guess what I'm basically ending up saying is that there seems to be a pattern of behavior, and, politics aside, this guy is basically assaults women on the regular, and the Democrat Party knew that he had this pattern of behavior. So, I mean, I don't understand how you can continue to endorse somebody that is so questionable, morally speaking, and you have the evidence even before this lady.
Because Democrats don't care until they're told to care about these things. Look at Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton did.
I get what you're saying.
Bill Clinton did more than what he did with Monica Lewinsky. I'll tell you. Not only did Bill Clinton was having sex acts performed on him by a 21-year-old intern while he was talking to the president of Russia, he was having the same type of intercourse in the study off the Oval Office, and he would complete it in the sink of the Oval Office study. There was one moment when, sorry to be graphic, but I tell you guys, one time they hadn't heard from the president for a while. Secret Service man got scared, got nervous, went inside and caught him with Lewinsky in the presidential study, engaged in the. So and I remember, and he was also accused. Now you may say, well, that was consensual. Yeah. Well, yes. Okay. Yeah. So you may say, well, that was consensual. Well, Juanita Broderick said he raped her twice. He raped her, arrested, recovered, and did it again. Kathleen Willey went to meet with him after her husband passed away under terrible circumstances, and he groped her, came onto her, and felt her up when right after her husband died. Paula Jones, he gave her a bloody lip, and the Democrat and don't forget Jennifer Flowers, the first, she came out. There were other Jennifer Flowers came out and detailed their multi-year long. And Democrats said, that's between him and his wife. He does a good job as president. That's all I care about. I couldn't believe it at the time. I was on the air during all that. I mean, that's, Democrats don't care about these things until they're told to care, because all they care about is winning, and the ends justify the means.
The sad state of affairs, it's extremely extremely sad. The moral compass of that political party. I mean, with their history and what they're willing to accept. I mean, and we probably don't even know the half of it in regards to.
And we probably don't want to know.
It's just disgusting. Well, yeah, I mean, because it's a lot to take in.
Yeah.
It's extremely, extremely sad. So I'm going to continue listening. Like I said.
Yeah, well, please do.
I listen to what you say because you're my guide of what's going to be happening.
Well, I appreciate that.
Trust in what you say.
I appreciate that.
Have a good day.
You too. All right. Let me take another call or two before we break. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Oh, okay. I guess they thought better of it. The rest of you on hold, hang in there. I want to take a quick break. There's a lot more to share. If you'd like to call in and you're watching live, the number is toll-free and pinned in the live chat. It's 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. We'll be right back.
On the line, we have Steve. He is a listener and client of Jupiter Joe Thomas. Took my advice. He went to see Joe Thomas, took advantage of that no-charge consultation. Steve, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Brian.
So tell me about your experience with Jupiter Joe Thomas and annuities.
Matter of fact, 3 years ago to the day, my mom passed away. And it's when I found out that my mom and dad left me, my brother and sister, a nice inheritance. And when I heard the advertisements on your show, I said this would be a great investment because I retired 25 years ago, 2001. And I got a good pension. I'm a retired police officer. But 25 years later, that pension does not buy anywhere near what it bought 25 years ago. I heard about Joe and how I could increase my income with these annuities. It backed the inflation because my pension was just not buying and taking care of me as it did 25 years ago. And Joe and his family, his daughters and his son, they were so nice and accommodating, and they asked me what my goal was, and my goal was specifically to get monthly mailbox money checks from these annuities, and the second thing was to leave a nice inheritance for my kids like my parents did for me. And he was great. I can't say enough about him.
You did something with your inheritance so few people do. Most people get that inheritance. They buy a new car, they buy a new house. You got it in annuities, and now you've got that guaranteed income each and every month for the rest of your life.
You got that right, and I'm telling you, it's a godsend. I can't thank Joe and his family enough.
Listen, give Jupiter Joe Thomas a call. Take advantage of that no-charge consultation, just like Steve did. 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. And online, jupiterjoe.com.
One mother's fight over adoption fraud and child trafficking has inspired a powerful new book series calling for greater government accountability. The Colorado Government Book Series from author Lindsay Schaefer. It's a deeply personal collection based on her own experiences and years of legal and personal battles. From The Missing, which covers where her daughter was kidnapped and child human trafficked out of the state of Colorado. Imperium Conflictus, which features a 14-year disability case and spousal support case. And Warranty of Habitability, where Lindsay describes the unlivable conditions she found helping the poor, with 10 shelters in Denver, Colorado having mold and asbestos. Author Lindsay Schaefer shares her perspective on child custody, disability benefits, homelessness, and the challenges she faced while seeking justice. If you're searching for a thought-provoking book series that raises the difficult questions and encourages readers to think for themselves, order the Colorado Government Book Series from author Lindsay Schaefer online at payhip.com/Lindsay777. That's payhip.com/777.
All right, we're back. I'm Brian. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. All right, so let's get back to it. So, today has been really a transition for Democrats, right? Immediately yesterday, they were circling the wagons But some of them have broken ranks today, but others are still circling the wagons around Graham Platner. This is Mika Brzezinski, who's a complete lunatic, and Joe Scarborough's wife, and she's interviewing the guy from Politico where they broke the Graham Platner story and did the Graham Platner sex assault rape investigation.
The questions about this, the questions surrounding this on both sides of this debate. There's not a police report, correct? Correct me if I'm wrong, and there's not a legal case playing out here.
This just blows my mind with these Democrats. How many of these allegations over the years did not have a police report, right? And now all of a sudden police reports are required? Did Anita Hill have a police report? Did the Kavanaugh accuser have a police report?
Or due process to see itself through. So my question to you, given the very high standards that Politico has before they write something like this and publish it, what aspects of this story brought it to the level of publishable?
Yeah, you're correct here, Mika. There is no police report in this case. We spent a lot of time talking to Jenny, asking her for corroborating evidence. She shared that she had confided into a number of people, including her therapist, in almost real time. And we reviewed email exchanges between she and her therapist, referring to what she called this sexual assault, and her therapist sort of acknowledging that this had happened to her. We talked to people who she confided in months after this happened. We asked her why she didn't file a police report, and she described sort of the insular nature of where she lives and her roommate she shares with Graham Platner. And she, debated.
And Graham Platner, his family is wealthy and connected, by the way. And you go out and make allegations, it's a mess. All of a sudden, they're what Mika's doing here is trying to victim shame and also kill the messenger, right? Politico.
Sort of how to handle this, and we found ultimately the number of corroborating pieces of evidence to support her story in a way that we could report it.
Yeah, I mean, when have you heard, he said in almost real-time communications with her and her therapist, when have you heard people turn over text and emails from a therapist soon after, in almost real time, from the event in a sex assault allegation? I mean, I think this was an incredibly detailed investigation done by liberal Politico.
So what are some of those corroborating pieces of evidence? So you've got
And why is Mika doing this interview and not Joe Scarborough? Is he off today? Does he not want to deal with this topic? I don't know.
With her therapist and people who she confided in. Any conversations with Graham Platner at the time of it where she said, because apparently as part of this story she says she even confirmed to him that this was not consent. Do you have that? What do you have that actually connects this literally? Graham Platner to raping this victim?
Yeah, she reached out to him the day after via Instagram.
See, I mean, this is phenomenal. I mean, this is like, I mean, they really talk about bringing the receipts.
Essentially, told him that she didn't want to hear from again. She told him that morning as well. And we looked at messages that she had sent to others in the months after this happened through social media.
But you were able to see those DMs?
She tried to recover those DMs. We did not. We were not able to review those DMs, but she described them to us. We also, long before he was before he was a political candidate, we saw her essentially explain to others that he was, quote, in her words.
Now, I want to tell you guys, Politico is a hardcore Democrat website. It has been around for many years. When MS Now was MSNBC, Politico from their early days was very much in league with MSNBC, and they even had their own studio at their offices. And look at Mika trying to try to discredit their own liberal news outlet. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, I'm Jake. I'm from San Diego, California. How you doing, old boy?
Okay.
Alrighty. Yeah, so we're talking about that guy out of Maine, right?
Graham Platner, the Nazi Democrat who's been accused of rape by...
I mean, I don't know if I'd call him a Nazi. I mean,
he has a Nazi tattoo on his chest. He has a Nazi tattoo on his chest over his heart. That makes...
I mean, guys do stuff when they're young, dumb, and drunk.
He was a grown adult. I don't know anyone with a Nazi tattoo except Graham Platner.
Neither do I. I think you're a piece of shit if you get one.
Oh.
But I mean, if we're gonna be honest about what we're calling him, he's a communist piece of shit.
Could you not use such vile language? I know it's online, but can you be a gentleman?
Okay, I mean, I'm sorry. We're talking about the people that support shooting Charlie Kirk here. Do we really need to be nice to them?
Yeah, we're not. Yes, yeah, we need to be. Yes, we need to be decent gentlemen. There's no need to use such nasty language.
Listen, Boomer, learn what fucking time it is.
Well, you know what I'll tell you? Get your own show, and you can talk whatever way you want, okay? Classless?
Yeah.
Appreciate the call, all right? So let me get back to this. Give me a break. There's no need to use such vile language. And I'm not, that doesn't mean that profanity is not okay on occasion. I know this is the internet, but there's no need to talk that way, really, right? All right, back to Mika. So Mika here, she's doing everything she can do to discredit this very well-sourced reporting from Politico.
Consensually careless, end quote.
Right, but were you able to see the interactions between Graham Platner and this alleged victim? Did you actually physically see them? Did she...
And this blows me away. All they had with Stormy Daniels was a photograph at some celebrity event. How many of you have taken pictures with celebrities? I meet listeners all the time, and I take pictures with them. I don't know who they are. I don't do a background check. People. I run into listeners all the time. They want to take us. I take a picture. They had one photograph of President Trump with Stormy Daniels, and they created 2 years of a sexual relationship that didn't exist. And look at what Mika's doing here with this, right? I mean, she wants him on tape confessing before she'll even accept it.
She attempted to uncover them. She was unable to.
Willie?
So let's talk a little bit.
Willie Geist, yeah.
Some of the timing of this.
I mean, this just blows me away.
People pointed out it's a week out from the date that Democrats now have to scramble and potentially find a new candidate if Platner does indeed drop out as expected to. We'll talk more about his support of the Democratic Party nationally at the state level has collapsed after these.
Okay, it goes on. It's amazing to me the standard they have of evidence. I mean, look at all this stuff with Epstein, right? President Trump, we now know because all the Epstein files were released, that President Trump was the original person, the first person that turned Jeffrey Epstein into the local police in Palm Beach. And it's in the Epstein files. The police chief from Palm Beach at the time has even given interviews and corroborated that. We also found out, because Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, slipped, that the president was an FBI informant to bring down Epstein. They got 3 or 4 photographs of President Trump at Mar-a-Lago events, and Epstein, who would pay to go to all these celebrity events and everything, is in them. And look at what they've created with that. But with Graham Platner, they want him to have confessions and DMs and text messages and maybe even a video of him confessing, or they're not going to believe it. It really blows my mind, with these partisan hacks on the left. The liberals just don't. They just don't hear themselves. Now, those of you that are watching on YouTube, okay, those of you listening on the audio podcast platforms might get it, but I just pulled up a video from CNN from a few years ago, and I'm going to show everyone here on YouTube. Do you know who this is? Do you know who this is? They're a very famous person. This is a few years ago. They look a little different today. Do you recognize who this person is? I'm going to tell you after the break, all right? My name is Brian Craig. This is the Brian Craig Show podcast. We'll take a quick break and be right back.
Hi, Tom LaPorte here. We are LaPorte Roofing, a family business since 1983. You are our customer. In other words, our boss. We are here for and because of you, not the other way around. The 2026 rainy season is upon us. Because we haven't had a hurricane in 2 years, all the storm chaser roofing companies have gone out of business, leaving only the strongest and the best contractors. At LaPorte Roofing, we will never sell you a roof you don't need. We don't have salesmen or commissions, so we will never pressure you to sign a contract. Also, deposits are not required. At LaPorte Roofing, you will always come first. We must earn your trust, and we will. So call me on my cell at 954-604-4602 or find us on the web at laporteroofing.com. That number again is 954-604-4602, 954-604-4602, or on the web at laporteroofing.com.
Are you looking for your next unforgettable read? Then order your copy of the thrilling first book in the Deep Time Cascade series from author Mattis Check, The Redenor Legacy, available on Amazon. What begins as a routine geological expedition in the remote mountains of Norway turns into a discovery that could rewrite everything we know about Earth's history. Four geologists uncover an ancient underground system buried deep beneath the rock. It's filled with mysterious symbols, hidden chambers, impossible technology, and secrets that were never meant to be found. As strange events take place around the planet, the team realizes they're racing against time. The deeper they descend, the more they uncover a forgotten intelligence and one shocking truth. If you love high-tech science fiction, ancient mysteries, and your seed adventure, and stories that blend science with global suspense, this is a book you will not want to put down. The Redenor Legacy from author Mattis Check is available right now on Amazon and free with Kindle Unlimited. Are you looking for jewelry that's as unique as you are? Then check out Kita Luxury on Etsy, where every piece is handcrafted with passion, artistry, and the natural beauty of genuine crystals and gemstones, inspired by a love for one-of-a-kind bohemian designs. Kita Luxury was created with a simple mission to make extraordinary handmade jewelry accessible to everyone. Behind every creation is a talented team of skilled artisans, each bringing their custom expertise to metalwork, stone cutting, beading, and fine jewelry craftsmanship to produce stunning wearable works of art. Whether you're searching for a breathtaking statement necklace, elegant earrings, handcrafted bracelets, beautiful rings, or meaningful jewelry for both men and women, you'll discover pieces that celebrate your individuality and personal style. Every design is carefully handcrafted using high-quality, natural materials. Creating jewelry that's more than an accessory is a reflection of who you are. Whether you're shopping for yourself or searching for the perfect gift, Kita Luxury offers timeless handcrafted jewelry designed to inspire, delight, and be treated for years to come. These healing crystals are some of the best healing jewelry on Etsy. Visit KitaLuxury.etsy.com. That's KEETA luxury.etsy.com. KitaLuxury.etsy.com. Handcrafted jewelry that tells your story. KitaLuxury.etsy.com.
All right, we're back. I'm Brian. It's the Brian Craig Show podcast. Thanks for everyone for tuning in. Yeah, so this woman that I'm showing here, a lot of you may not know who she is. Some of you may know. This was a CNN interview that she did a number of years ago before she went through a Michael Jackson-like transformation. This is Sunny Hostin. And she's had her appearance drastically altered over the years. And why Sunny Hostin did this, I don't know why she had her appearance so drastically altered, but she doesn't look anything like that now, does she? I'm going to play, she was commenting on Graham Platner today, but I want to play you this because I thought this was very bizarre. How many of you out there are parents? I'm a parent. You know, my daughter's grown. She's a grown woman. She's 27 years old now. but she used to be a baby. Listen to Sunny Hostin. She's on Anderson Cooper's show years ago, and they're talking about a parent who left their 22-month-old baby boy in a car, strapped in a car seat for 7 hours, and he died. And listen to what Sunny Hostin admits to here. Yeah. Okay, now I'll tell you as a parent, I never did that. In fact, I remember when my daughter was in the car seat age, I would get out of the car. I would leave the car running sometimes because you want the air conditioning on, especially during the summer. I would go and get my daughter out of the car seat. First thing, I'd get out, boom, get her out of the car seat, right? I never had that happen. Did you have that happen? But yeah, boy, oh boy, no. She had Mother of the Year, huh? I wonder how her daughter's doing today. What other neglect went on in that family? But what a transformation. And if you look at her today, I mean, she looks nothing like that today. I mean, her skin is so much lighter, and the voice is the same. But she's a completely different person. I don't know if she's had a lot of cosmetic work, but her skin is, I don't know how many shades lighter. I can't judge such things, but she has dramatically altered her appearance. But anyway, here she is going back and forth on Graham Platner.
Sorry, I am someone that believes in character. I am someone that believes that morals matter. But because of the state of this country, if I lived in Maine, I would hold my nose and I would vote for Platner.
Okay, now that was in June. That was June 10th when the Nazi tattoo issue came up. Okay? So, here you have Sunny Hostin of The View, who has no problem with the Nazi tattoo, which is insane to me. I mean, this is nuts. But now she's had a change of heart.
I think he should step down at this point. I think there's no question about that. He has until, I believe, July 13th. I think we are in this existential crisis, and we need. But we have to have a baseline standard.
Oh boy, yeah. So she's all over the place. But I mean, I'm stunned by the change in her appearance. It's pretty brutal, isn't it? Absolutely, it is. Oh my goodness. If you're new, my name's Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. And remember, the Brian Craig Show podcast is available wherever you get podcasts. If you want to catch the show live in video form, go to YouTube. You can catch me live in video form twice a day during the week and even on the weekends in the mornings. And I'm always live streaming, taking your live calls. If you'd like to support my channel and content, become a Patreon supporter. There's a link in the description of the video on whatever platform you're listening on. And, when you become a Patreon supporter, you get access to a lot of exclusive things, commercial-free editions of my podcast, and a lot of things that my wife and I both post that we post nowhere else. But I also do live streams pretty much every day on Patreon. They're exclusive to Patreon supporters. It's a troll-free zone. There's no liberal trolls in there. It's a live stream very much like I do here on YouTube with a live chat and that I interact with, and it's a great community, and I talk about things that I'm not allowed to talk about here, that I can't talk about here or anywhere else. The radio, online, anywhere. I talk about things on the Patreon live streams that you will never hear me talk about here or anywhere else. And those of you that are Patreon supporters, you know exactly what I'm talking about, okay? Pretty much every day I'm talking about things that I cannot talk about here. There's a link in the description to become a Patreon supporter. And when you go there, you'll see an option to join for free. If you join for free, you don't have access to any of the content, okay? You have to be a paying member to have access to the exclusive content, and that starts at just $5 a month, okay? And if you become a top Patreon supporter, you get your name up on the screen here on YouTube and a thank you shout out on every podcast episode. So the names you'll hear now are my top Patreon supporters. I want to thank SFjr, Christine, Chuck, Pamela, Nick, Wesley, Doris, Heather, David, Maria in Texas, Alice, LeeZep, Shawna, George, Brandon, John, Frank, Dale, Tina, David, Laura, Rob, Wes, Sue, Janice, Teresa, Irene, Rick, Michael, and Robert R. These are my top Patreon supporters. Thank you all for your support. And also, again, there's a link in the description if you'd like to become a Patreon supporter. The Charlie Kirk assassin trial is going on, and I will be covering that and following it. Right now, what's going on is the preliminaries on that. But when the actual trial begins, we're having the actual case, I will follow that. I will tell you, though, this assassination of Charlie Kirk is far beyond the shooter himself. Okay, I stand by what I thought from day one. This was a political assassination that was done on a much larger scale. Charlie Kirk was the second most important person in the MAGA movement. The first is President Trump. Think about that. They shot them both and assassinated one. Right? And the role that Charlie Kirk played, I knew that he played an important role. I understood that. And, and I knew when the first time I really realized the importance of the work Charlie Kirk was doing on the college campuses was one day I was at the mall. There were other people that were debating people at college campuses, like Ben Shapiro and stuff. And I understood Charlie Kirk, and I didn't always agree with him, okay? I did not always agree with him, but I agreed with him probably about 98% of the time. And I knew he was doing good work, but there were two things that happened that I experienced that made me realize how important he was, and then I learned how that he was even much more important than that after the Never Trumpers assassinated him. And the first was I went to the Apple store with my daughter one day, and the Apple store is down the street from the local university where I went to college, Florida Atlantic University. And I did my undergrad there before I did my graduate work at Trump University. But no, I went to Florida Atlantic University, and it's right across the street from the university, the Apple store. And there were a bunch of guys from the university that came in there to do some shopping at the Apple store, and they were all wearing MAGA hats. And I thought, oh, wow, I haven't seen that before with college kids. They were all wearing MAGA hats. And they were not, they were like the cool kids, right? They weren't like the, dressing like Tucker Carlson or Ben Shapiro wearing khakis and penny loafers and blue blazers like Michael J. Fox in Family Ties. You know what I mean? Like wearing, like they worked at Blockbuster Video. They were the cool kids. And I thought, wow. And I started to understand what Charlie Kirk's influence was. And then I went to the Turning Point USA event with Charlie Kirk in Palm Beach, I don't know, maybe 4 years ago. And I think I got the press pass from it. I got it around here somewhere in the studio. I don't know where I put it. Maybe I put it in a drawer somewhere. But, I was shocked. There were so many college kids there, but there were also high school kids who were there to see not just Charlie, but all of these speakers. Byron Donalds, Vivek Ramaswamy was there, Anna Paulina Luna, Tucker, Megyn Kelly before they got nuts. The president was there. And the kids that were there at Turning Point, they were college and high school kids, like what these guys I saw from the college at the Apple store were the cool kids. And when I was growing up, there were always young Republicans around, but they were like the dorks, like the Ben Shapiro, with the penny loafers, you know what I mean? And when I saw that it was the cool kids that were, I was like, wow, this is amazing what he's doing. But then after the Never Trumpers assassinated Charlie Kirk, J.D. Vance hosted the first Charlie Kirk show, and he did it from the White House in the old executive office building. Remember this? And he interviewed all kinds of people. Bobby Kennedy Jr., and a whole bunch of others. And everybody that he brought in talked about what role Charlie Kirk played in the transition. And the president talked a lot about how he was a major advisor of his throughout the entire campaign in 2024. I didn't realize that Charlie Kirk was involved in the decision of almost every cabinet post and a lot of other things. He was one of the most influential Republicans to ever live who did not hold political office. It was, and I believe it was a targeted assassination by the Never Trumpers, and I still stand by that. Just like Oswald. Oswald wasn't just some lone guy who went and did that. Does anybody believe that? Same goes for John Wilkes Booth, okay? I believe that the Democrat Party of the Confederate States of America was behind John Wilkes Booth, okay? These things don't just happen. But I will follow and cover the trial of this assassin as it goes on. But we're never going to know the full story. I mean, look at some of the things that have come out about Butler recently. There have been some really disturbing things that have come out in the last few days over the 4th of July weekend about the Secret Service and Butler. They knew about him and the roof long before previously reported. And it's tough for me to cover the Charlie Kirk trial because while the guy is guilty as sin and needs to go to prison for the rest of his life, there's a much bigger thing that went into this assassination of Charlie Kirk far beyond this monster. And so I have there's a lot of frustration that we're not talking about the bigger picture of what happened here. Yeah, I don't know, do you guys understand what I'm saying about that? But I am going to cover it and follow it when the actual trial begins. We're in the preliminary hearings right now. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, man, it's Colby from Florida. I'm 24. I don't know if you do the whole age thing.
Okay.
I saw you were talking about Platner, man, and that Dems should be worried about him. I had a question or two for you on that.
Mm-hmm.
So, for one, I'm a Democrat, and I never really liked Platner, for a lot of reasons other than the Nazi tattoo. So I probably wouldn't have voted for him in any kind of primary to begin with. But I'm curious, why do you think that Dems should be worried about Graham Platner? Is it the rape allegation stuff?
Well, when you say the Democrats, it depends on what you mean. And I didn't say I'm not saying the Democrats should be, I'm not saying that they should be worried about Graham Platner's on his way out. He's not going to the Senate. He's done. But Graham Platner is, he was cast in this role, okay? Like you cast an actor in a television series. He was cast by the Democrat Socialist of America because he fit a mold that they thought would do well in Maine. And you know what it was until all this stuff came out. The Democrat Party, when I say the Democrats need to worry, I'm talking about the Democrat Party establishment. Need to be worried about the communists that are coming in under the cover of the Democrat Socialist of America to destroy the Democrat Party and our nation. The Democrat Socialist of America are communists who want to bring down, they want the downfall of the U.S. government. No, excuse me. Week before last, the Democrat Socialist of America released their platform. They want to abolish the presidency and the Senate. If you want to abolish the Senate and the presidency, that's the overthrow of the government. And that's what they're it's in their party platform. 2 weeks ago, they dropped it.
Do you care if I take a second to verify that?
I got it on my X somewhere. I posted it a couple weeks ago. But you can take my good word for it. I talked about it on the air when it happened. So if you found out that they supported abolishing the presidency and the Senate, would you say that they were about the overthrow of the United States? Would you agree with that?
Not necessarily. Not necessarily.
Well, wait a minute. We are a constitutional republic.
Do you want to let me talk, or?
Well, hold on a second. We're a constitutional republic with 3 branches of government. They want to eliminate they want to eliminate.
In a republic, we're a democratic republic, my friend.
We are a.
Voters end up moving
We are a Democrat, and hold on. Excuse me. We are a Democrat constitutional republic that has 3 branches of government. They're talking about eliminating an entire branch, the executive. They're talking about eliminating
Well, it
half.
sounds like they're talking about getting rid of the head of the executive, which is different than getting rid
No,
of the
no.
executive.
The presidency is the branch. The executive branch is the
No,
president.
it's not, sir.
He's the
No, it's
executive.
not. I understand that that's a more right-wing opinion these days.
No, it's called common
There's plenty
sense.
of,
The
like,
executive
18
branch
outside
is
of
the
president's
executive.
purview.
The executive
Yeah,
branch
there are,
is the.
like, for instance,
All right.
go ahead, finish what you're going to say.
I'm
man.
finished. Go ahead.
All I'm saying is there are things outside of the purview of the president inside the executive branch. It's being challenged a lot more now, especially in the Supreme Court. And, you know, they've been ruling a lot more.
So I pulled up. I posted this.
Like Attorney General. Well, hold on, man. Do you want to
No.
let me finish the point?
No, I'm not. I pulled
Go
up.
ahead.
And I posted this to the top of my X, okay, which is Brian Craig Show, and I'm showing it on YouTube now. This is the flyer that the Democrat Socialist of America released, okay, of their new agenda. This was about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. Abolish the Senate. Replace the President and Supreme Court. So they want to eliminate 2 branches of government, the executive and the judiciary, and half of the legislative branch. That's an overthrow of the U.S. government as we know
I
it.
don't agree with that, nor what it was. I'm not a democratic socialist, nor what it was what I was calling it about. My question, I mean, I can talk on this for a little bit longer if you want. It seems like that's the thing you want to talk about Platner, but I had a more specific aimed question for you.
I'm sure you don't want to. Go ahead, fine. Now that I've blown you out of the water on this, take another try at it.
I literally had no knowledge of the Democratic Socialist agenda.
Okay,
nor
whatever.
did I
All right, what's your other point? What's your other point?
But sure, you blew me out of the water, buddy.
Yes, I did.
So with Platner, do you think his rape allegations are credible?
Absolutely. The ones
Okay,
against
why
him?
do you think those allegations are credible, but none of the charges against Donald Trump?
Okay, you asked a very good question.
There's less evidence.
No, hold on. You asked a very good question. Okay. Now, what I'm going to explain all of this, and what I'm about to tell you about Graham Platner, I played the investigative reporter from Politico earlier in the podcast about this, so you can rewind and listen to him talk about it. Okay, with the woman who came forward and said that she was raped by Graham Platner yesterday, she did an interview with Jake Tapper on CNN, and Politico, before that, did a detailed investigation to corroborate her allegations. She gave them her electronic communications between friends and even her therapist, who she talked to about this in almost real time, where she talked to her therapist in real time.
Same things. I agree.
Okay, no, I'm not done. You said, why do I believe? No. I'm not done answering. You said, why do I believe these allegations and not the Trump allegations? And I'm getting to that. I'm getting to that part.
I was going to make a point
real
quick on those things that you
mentioned. Yeah, go ahead.
The things that you just said are also present inside the E. Jean Carroll.
No, they're not.
The therapist notes.
Nope.
The
Nope.
same story over 15 years.
Nope.
Yes, sir. All present.
No, they're not.
Pull it up.
I don't have to pull it up. I've lived through it. E. Jean Carroll, there's
Me too. That's really How can we both
E. Jean
correct?
Carroll. Well, only one of us is correct, and it's me.
Exactly.
E. Jean
So
Carroll.
look at the evidence
Excuse
instead of
me.
just going off
There.
whatever the fuck you're
Excuse
talking
me.
about.
Oh, another one with the language. E. Jean Carroll, okay,
bad. I won't-
would not even say what year the allegations happened. She wouldn't even say what decade, but she wouldn't even say what year. Why not?
I've never even heard that.
That's true. Also, her story at Bergdorf department store is right out of an episode of Law and Order SVU. I've seen the episode. You can look it up online.
Shit. That is a horrible.
What is it with you with the dirty mouth?
Either late 1995 or early
No,
1995.
she's never given a year.
She literally has it inside her 2019
Nope.
memoir
The reason
published in a New York Magazine
she
article.
never gave a
She's
year.
lying.
She never gave a year.
Do you want me to read you her quote?
No, I followed the no.
Show.
You're not gonna know. I followed the whole thing.
Do you think E. Jean Carroll said it was sexy to be raped?
She said it to Anderson Cooper on CNN.
What? Can you give me the quote, please? Because this is going to show it to your entire audience. Just
I'll pull it up. I mean, I
What did she
can't
say?
listen. I'm going to
She
pull.
said it was sexy that Donald Trump raped her.
I'm going to
Can you give me
pull
the
up.
quote?
I'm going
She
to
said that.
slow down for a second.
Because I know what the quote is. She says that some people like to think of rape as sexy. What happened to me was not sexy. So what you are doing is an entire lie.
I'm going to pull it up. First off, I didn't even bring that up, but I'm going to.
This is also really interesting. 'Cause like I said,
Hold on a second with your profanities, okay? Calm down for a second. I'm not here for you just to throw random things out, and then I have to go and grab and prove to you.
It isn't random. It's been 1 point, brother.
Okay, I have covered all of this. I've been on the air for over 35 years.
Well, you just missed
So I'm going to play the clip of E. Jean Carroll in a moment. I'm going to play the video.
Let's hear it.
I'm going to play the video.
Yeah, do it.
But this is not for
I can't
me.
hear it on my end, can I?
You'll have to watch it online. But here's the thing. Everybody else will get to hear it. You can watch it online if you want. Here's the thing.
Well, I just don't know if you're going to play it just on this clipping of the thing or not.
I'm going to play it. I'm going to play it right in just a moment. Okay. But this is not a place where you call and I have to produce evidence to back up every syllable of every sentence. I have credibility, okay? I've been covering... Hold on. I've been covering news and politics for over 35 years. I've been covering them in real time, including the E. Jean Carroll case. And the reason... I didn't say anything about the sexy thing. You brought that up. E. Jean Carroll did not give a year because if she gave details...
I have no clue what you're talking about. You put me on hold.
I'm going to hang up on you in a minute if you don't stop interrupting. But the reason that E. Jean Carroll...
Can you interrupt me as much as you want?
Yeah, it's my show. Yeah.
Okay.
I can do whatever I want on my own show. But E. Jean Carroll didn't give...
For someone else to make a point.
E. Jean Carroll did not give a date or a year even, because if she did, maybe Donald Trump was in California. Nope. She
said late 1995.
Nope. During the entire court case, she did not give a year. During the entire court case.
What year was her court case?
The court case was just a couple years ago. She never gave a year as to when it happened.
No, just answer. What year was the court case?
Her court case? I don't remember what year it began offhand.
2023. What year was the New York memoir written? 2019. 4 years.
No. She did not. No, in the entire court. No, in the entire court case. In the actual civil, in the civil trial, she did not give a year. In the civil trial, when she was under oath, don't you understand? There's a difference between but that's not under oath. When she was giving sworn depositions, nope.
Under oath as well.
Nope.
I'm literally reading it right now.
What you're reading is false. What you're reading is false.
So you're saying her testimony is false now?
Yes, she's a liar.
The jury agreed with
she's a liar.
So to be clear, you think the evidence?
Yeah, the jury, juries are. Yeah, the jury. Yeah.
Hold on, can I say one sentence?
Say it.
Say one sentence, please. So you think that the exact same evidence on E. Jean Carroll's side, being the same story being corroborated for 15 years, the fact that they had therapist notes that showed and reflected the story, that she also under oath in court testified to what happened.
No.
And friends
No.
surrounding
She never in court she never gave a year.
That is insane.
So and President Trump couldn't. She did not.
Then pull it up. Pull up the case.
No. I'm not here to pull crap up for you all day.
On the court.
I am not. Okay, I'm going to have to put you on hold. You won't stop. I'm not here to pull crap up for you. I'm going to play the clip of her with Anderson Cooper. But I'm not here. This is not me pull up crap for you by request. I'm not going to do. I'm going to play this. I pulled up two things already.
Do it.
The first one I pulled up, you said, excuse me, you said the Democrats, Socialists don't support. I pull it up and then you want to talk about E. Jean Carroll. Okay.
I did not say that, sir. You're lying again. I said
rewind it. It's on the show. All right, listen. I'm going to play the clip. I'm going to play the clip. I'm going to play the clip. You'll have to watch it online. You can't hear it on the phone. But this is E. Jean Carroll with Anderson Cooper.
All right, play it. Just let me know when the clip is done.
Yeah, and you can tell, you know, Anderson Cooper is so uncomfortable, he cut to break. All right, listen, I appreciate your call, but I'm going to move on.
Wait, but hold on. You said
No, I'm not. I'm done
that-
talking to you. I mean, I've talked to you for like 20 minutes, and I'm getting a headache listening to the Trump derangement syndrome. You know, see, here's the thing that's important to understand. Okay, everything about her case, E. Jean Carroll, was false, fell apart. The Law and Order connection, no dates, and everything else. This accuser, she has correspondence, and Politico said, in almost real time, verifying everything. And the other thing that is important, E. Jean Carroll had behind her Democrat never-Trumper operatives, okay? This Graham Platner accuser, she is a Democrat socialist who says she agrees with him politically, and one of the reasons she didn't come forward is she didn't want to hurt his politics. She's a Democratic socialist. And she came forward with Democrats, Politico and CNN, not Republican operatives. That also gives it more credibility. Listen, if you're new to my program, make sure that you subscribe. But I want to tell you guys this. Do you see what you see what the liberals do? What the liberals do is it's called "you're another" fallacy, right? They bring up something, you shoot it down, and then they ignore it. You know, what I brought up about the Democrat Socialist of America, and you can find this on my X, because I just reposted it, Brian Craig Show on X, okay? The Democrat Socialist of America are calling for abolishing the United States government as we know it. It's in their platform. This was 2 weeks ago. Look at this. Abolish the Senate, replace the president and the Supreme Court. They want the House of Representatives to run the country, right? That is the overthrow of the United States government. That makes them insurrectionist, all right? They're not Democrats. They're radical, revolutionary, communist. And if you look around the world where the communists have taken over, where did they take over peacefully? Russia, Vietnam, North Korea, Cuba, Central America, South America. Where did the communists take over peacefully? It's always violent, just like in their platform that they just dropped about 2 weeks ago. The Democrat Socialist of America are violent, communist revolutionaries. And the Democrat Party is in complete meltdown and freak out mode about it. You know, the Democrats made a mistake. Back in 2015, 2016, they have their Democrat primary, Hillary Clinton. She thinks it's finally her time, right? And Bernie Sanders, who's not a Democrat, he was running for president. They let him in their primary process. And when this really, and they thought to themselves, well, you know, this is a great new voting bloc of young people that we can bring into the Democrat Party. And they made a mistake. During the Democrat primary debates that were televised in the 2016 campaign, they let Bernie Sanders in the Democrat debate, and he wasn't a Democrat. He's a Democrat socialist. And it was debated at the time whether that should be allowed. But they figured, new demographic, we'll bring him in. And then what happened? Well, there's been a lot of dominoes. It's the boiling the frog in the cold pot of water, right? You know that analogy? You put a frog in a pot of boiling water, he jumps out. You put him in a pot of cold water and turn up the burner, he slowly boils to death. I don't know how true that story is, but you get the analogy. It's overused a lot. That's what the Democrat socialists have been doing with the Democrats. And they just realized after those New York primary victories of those Democrat socialists 2 weeks ago, and this lunatic in Colorado, and they've got a few others around the country, that they're in trouble. And their party has been taken over by radical, violent, revolutionary communists. They call themselves the Democrat Socialist of America, but that's a front. And the Democrats are scared right now. And I'll tell you, they're scared for the future of their party, but I even think some of them might be scared for the future of the country. But I think they're more concerned about their party and themselves and their families. You know, you look, we've seen all these financial things that Nick Shirley and Doge and others have exposed. All these Democrat fraud operations, the Somali pirates in Minneapolis and California, you know, I don't have to go, you guys know. And they do this all over the country. It's not just Minneapolis and California. So the Democrats are all rich, they're leaders, and they're rich from all these, they're afraid of losing that too. There's a lot of self-preservation in there. But they've realized, maybe too late, about what the Democrat Socialists really are. And they are scared, the Democrats. And they're fighting within. The Democrat Party is not running to win the midterm elections. The Democrat establishment are running to maintain control of their party. And what I was talking about this morning, and I'll sum this up about Graham Platner here and now, okay? Graham Platner is being run out of the Senate race by Democrats. This is a whole Democrat move, right? Politico and CNN, hardcore Democrat establishment. CNN's also deep state. The Democrat establishment has made a conscious decision to lose the Senate race in Maine. I know a lot of people don't agree with me on that, but they have, because they're trying to stop the Democrat Socialist. They knew about this woman weeks ago. They didn't do anything about it. They're just using this woman to get him out of the race, right? Bernie Sanders, they're going to try to get rid of him when he's up next time, and AOC and all the rest. They understand now, finally, the Democrats, the danger to their existence as a party, that the Democrat Socialists, who are these violent revolutionary communists, pretending to be something they're not. And they are making decisions right now to lose a Senate seat. What other races are they going to plan on losing? You know, the Democrat Party, they have a machine. We all know this, right? In the Republican Party, we have speeches and rallies. They don't do rallies. They have a get out the vote thing. They have a whole machine where they get people out to vote. They got all this on the buses and everything. Their people vote for who they tell them to vote for. They may very well, in situations like in Michigan, there's this Democrat Socialist, Saeed is his name, the Muslim guy. He's a doctor of something, I don't know. He's running the if that guy wins it, they may very well use their machine to get people to vote Republican. Okay, we've seen this in the Republican Party. The Tea Party, there was a Tea Party revolution in 2010 where Tea Party candidates won House and Senate seats all over the country. 2 years later, they were almost all gone, and these many years later, they're all gone. There may be one or two left, but they're not. The Tea Party's gone. They wiped out the Tea Party. The Republican Party made a conscious decision to lose races all over the United States to purge themselves of the Tea Party, because the political establishment of the Democrat Party right now would rather lose the election than lose control of the party. Right? They don't even want to win the midterms. In fact, they want to lose midterms. They want to lose the midterms so they can blame the Democrat Socialists for it and purge them out. That's what's going on. And I know this seems crazy to a lot of you out there. And I understand that, but I stand by it. I've seen this happen with the Republican establishment. You know, the Republican establishment in all of Trump's elections, they worked to defeat him. Think about it. You know, and even in 2024, when he was reelected, they ran Nikki Haley and DeSantis and everything else. They were trying to defeat President Trump then. Remember when Mitt Romney was putting up a fake candidate to run against Trump in one of the primaries? Remember all this stuff? Remember they were going to have a brokered convention, the Republicans, in the first election? All these things, you know? So, you know, the establishment of the two political parties, the Uniparty, right? We don't talk about the Uniparty too much. The Uniparty are willing to lose elections to maintain control of the political party. And that's what the Democrats are doing right now. It's self-preservation. I hope it's not too late. We'll find out. But it's one thing to, they made some mistakes, like letting Mamdani win in New York, you know, and everything else. And in some pockets, it's going to be too late. These Democrats in New York City are running uncontested, right? It's New York City. But what's going to happen when they get to Congress? Are they going to be seated on committees? No. You know, there's going to be a big change here for the ones that do make it. All right, well, I don't know. Let's see. Let me take another call or two before we go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey there, it's Thomas.
Okay.
Hey, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Okay, so I'm just wondering, have you ever considered that, you know, the people in your life are behaving the way that they're behaving because of your behavior?
What people in my life do you know about? You don't know about anybody in my life.
Okay.
You talking about these degenerates that call me using the language?
Yeah.
No, they're just loser liberals that have Trump derangement syndrome. I don't know these people.
Well, yeah, I mean,
they have nothing. It's like I don't have any. It's like you're not in my life. Just because you call me on the show, you're not involved in my life.
Right. But you're projecting your life out for the scrollers to ingest.
Nope.
You know?
No. Trump.
Okay.
You know. Listen.
I mean,
when you're talking. Well, go ahead.
Whatever you say, you know, like you are part of the scroll now. You know?
I'm part of the what?
You're part of the machine.
What machine?
The scroll, you know?
What machine am I a part of?
The media machine. You know what machine you're part of, brother.
What machine am I a part of?
The media machine.
Oh, really?
You know,
and what am I? Am I controlled? Am I controlled by someone?
No, you're just controlled by yourself, man. But like, you know, you're playing the part, and it's very obvious.
What part am I playing?
The part of the MAGA guy.
I have been doing. Hold on a second here. I have been doing this. What I'm doing right now, I've been doing since 1990, probably before you were born.
Okay.
This is what I've done for a living since 1990, hosting shows, taking live calls. George H.W. Bush was president when I first started doing this. I was doing this for many years before Donald Trump came down the escalator. I'm not some new person that just came out of nowhere. I've been doing this since before most of these callers that are dropping profanity were born. 36 years.
Well, I applaud you for that. Actually, that's quite incredible.
Okay, so you want to retract your statements and apologize? It's okay. I don't expect everyone to know my bio.
Because what I'm saying is, you know, you're still part of the machine. You're still a reactionary, you know? Like, you're still part of the divide of America, you know? You're not bringing people together. You're tearing them apart.
Really? No. Are you kidding me? This country, the majority of the electorate are MAGA. The majority of the country are patriots. It's people on the left and the never-Trumpers are in a cult. A never-Trumper cult.
Both sides are in a cult?
Nope. No, we're the majority. A cult is a tiny little fringe group, and the never-Trumpers and the left are in a cult, a tiny little fringe group. The majority of the people are conservative. Look at the people crying. Look at the people with tears in their eyes watching the planes fly over Mount Rushmore on the 3rd of July, and everyone at the National Mall on the 4th of July. Those were conservatives.
You don't think that it's a little bit culty that, like, they keep giving Trump money even though he keeps, like, rug pulling them? Like, he's like, I don't know. Don't get me wrong. You know, he's just another politician. They're all corrupt, you know.
Donald Trump is not corrupt. He's the anti-politician. That's why the establishment hate him so much.
What? You still believe that, brother?
What? Yeah, I'm not your brother.
Well, do you still believe that?
Still believe what?
That Donald Trump is not corrupt.
He's the only person who's ever been president who has been worth less money than before he became president.
You need to look up his crypto rug pull scams, dude. You need to look that up, dude.
What
That's
scam?
crazy.
What
You don't know
scam?
about that. Yeah. What? Dude,
What?
the
Just
fucking
because? All right,
government-
I appreciate the call. You know, when somebody says something, what? Oh my goodness. Listen, if you're new to the program, welcome. Make sure, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you subscribe and like the video. And if you're listening on one of the podcast platforms, please do me the favor of following and subscribing. It's always free to do on whatever podcast platform you're listening on. My name's Brian Craig. What? Yes, that's right. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. These people. I'll see you first thing, bright and early tomorrow morning. Take care.